Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. So good. Good morning, Debbie. How are you? Hey, Lynn. Everybody make sure you have a great big drink because I'm going to be covering a lot of territory today. Hi, Christine. Welcome. If you're brand new here, please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Ann Corbiere-Scott. Today, we are... Good morning, Terry. Today, we are going to be learning about Karin markers. So, if you don't know about Karin markers, then maybe there's just a little something else that I can introduce them to you. If you already have them, maybe there'll be a pointer that you don't know. Anyway, let's take a drink. Let's stay nice and hydrated. Ooh, they are sparkly, aren't they? And you know what's so funny? I am not a glittery person, but I love these. Good morning from Indiana, Miss Nancy. How are you today? I'm telling you, Christine, I think you're going to fall in love with Karin markers. I sure did. That's for sure. I love my Karin markers too, Vicky. I do. And you know, I got them out because a friend had just bought some and said, hey, can you tell me about them? And I said, well, how about if I talk about them on Tuesday during our pop-in paint party? That's a little mini class every Tuesday and Thursday. So if there is a supply, if there is a medium that you're curious about, let me know and I will try and demo it. If it's something new to me, I will dive deep and then I will oh, Lynn, you're gonna know the attraction after today, sister. Good morning, Terry. Where are you watching from, Terry? Anyway, if there's something that you want to learn about, let me know. I will be happy to oblige as best I can. All right, Nancy, pull out your markers. So, but first, I want to tell you about my weekend. So, Saturday was the Frida meetup, right? So we went to see the Frida immersive experience, and it was amazing. It was, South Carolina. Nice. I have only been in the airport in South Carolina, and it was the Charleston airport, actually. Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning. So I'm going to start coloring while I tell you about my weekend. How's that sound? Good morning, Tam. Tammy's all the way back in Idaho. Montana. Hey, Jimmy, so where in Montana are you? My sister lives in Billings. Are you near there? So I'm going to be coloring on my brand new art printable, which is named Spetember. And remember, September's birth flower is aster. So I just drew all different kinds of asters. And you know what? It just kind of hit me, and so that's what I did. Oh, I wanted to share one thing that I did. You live in Billings too? No way. Well, next time I'm up there, maybe we'll have to do a little something artsy. You have to show me, like, where do you get your artsy stuff? Where do you shop for artsy loot? So, last week, did I show this? I don't remember. I just did the cover so far. I haven't done all the guts just yet. But last week, remember, I taught a class for Lindsay's birthday party. And I did a zine, and this is the one that I taught. Well, this is the one that I taught the pieces in class. I haven't this is as far as I got. I did all my components. I painted my base. I think I talked about this in the newsletter last week. So that is one. I did another one that was plainer, but if you want to watch that video, it's in Lindsay's 61st birthday party. So here's the one that was my sample for class, right? So we're gonna do like that, and then we'll do like that, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can fill this with whatever I want, right? And that's my idea with I'm just in love with this one. This one I used Vintage Papeterie 6 for my base. I printed it and then I painted it, and then I painted this aster for my cover. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do inside, but you know when you start an idea, when you an idea kind of hits you, then you just kind of grow. Like, what if I did it this way? What if I did it that way? I love that. But I just think that the Vintage Papeterie just adds that extra something, you know? Anywho, so let's talk about Karin markers. So I will tell you that Karin markers are a brush marker, and they, one of the first things I always do when I get a new supply, especially if it's a set, I have this notebook that well, it's really kind of a sketchbook art journal, but I have all of my swatches in here because I want to have a reference place, right? So here's all of my Neo colors, my hydrocolor paints, etc., right? My Artistic Isle, my watercolors by Myrtle, and then here's my... So in the beginning, I told myself I was only going to let myself buy 10. So here's the original 10 that I bought. And then here's all the colors that my friend Lauren has. She is the whole reason that I got started down this rabbit hole of Karin markers. But she doesn't care. She's an enabler. As am I right now, right? Okay, so here's what I will tell you about Karin markers. A couple of things. You're going to... They blend beautifully. Oh, Denmark. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I bet the beach is beautiful there. You'll have to post a picture. We would love to vicariously visit Denmark with you. So here's a couple of things. Number one, they have a clear barrel, so you can see exactly how much ink is left inside, right? Do you see that? Can you see when it's up and down, you can see how much ink is left inside. Okay, Debbie, you store them vertically, tips up, unless they are the metallic ones. Those are the only ones that you store on its side. So you see mine are all in this coffee can, right? They're always stored vertically. They're filled with intense liquid ink colored dye-based paint. There's a mouthful, right? Since their tips are durable nylon, you can use them on all kinds of substrates. I like them on watercolor paper because I like to move that, you know, I like to move color around. Let's see. It's a smooth application of color. There are, and it's water soluble, right? So that means we can move the color with more water. So, and they're not permanent. Remember that. So they are water soluble. So color is movable with water. So that means if it's dry and you get water on it, the color's going to move. So just remember that. So let's start with, everybody has their favorite colors. You know how we always do. My favorite colors are gold, amber. Let's find amber. What is this one? Amber. Cerise. I like cerise. I like cool aqua. Look at those. Aren't they pretty together? I like pale violet. And let's pick a green. So I have a couple of greens that I really like. I really like apple and lime green. I like both of those. I also have the neons, and I'll play with those a little. Let's pick lime green. Okay, so here we go. Cap up if regular, cap down, cap flat if metallic. You want the not down, you want it horizontal, Lynn. If they're metallic, you want horizontal. Good morning, Michelle. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. I wrote a post. I hope everybody saw that. On Saturday, I just kind of absorbed the day. So we went to the Frida immersive experience, and I'm just going to tell you that it was... I've been to many of these immersive experiences, and it was the best so far. It was the best, and I'll tell you why. Because they made it a completely interactive experience. It wasn't just going into the room and watching the film and music. There was a section where you could color a picture, which I think mine are still in the car, so I'll go get those and show them on Thursday. But they had pictures that you could color. They had crayons and markers out. You colored the picture, and then this was just freaking brilliant. They had you put it in they had at the front of the room, they had a overhead projector. So you slid your colored picture underneath, and it projected your picture on the wall, and then an animation filled all around there with Frida flowers. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. So we all took pictures of those, and then took pictures of ourselves in front of our paintings, our coloring pieces. And then they had... okay, I'm going to do a blue with cool aqua. Now watch what I do. I'm going to put a little bit of color down. And then I'm going to take my wet brush, tap, tap, tap. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. I'm going to wet my brush in my water, tap it off, and then watch. I'm going to pull that color out. Good morning, Sharon. There she is. Put some more color down. This is how I like to use them. I like to use them like as a watercolor alternative, right? But you see how this one is darker than this one? Right? Tap, tap, tap. Then just pull that color out. Right? And then once we do this, we can go back and we can continue to build our color, right? Tap it off, pull it out, all the way around. But look at that. I just took color from here and just painted another petal, right? Because remember that all of your petals, all the petals on a flower are not going to be the same intensity of color, right? You're going to have light ones and dark ones. Right? So I like to do, you know me, I like to start light and build color. And these blend so beautifully. As soon as I go all the way around, I will come in and show some blend. If you're starting to feel like, remember, if you feel like you have too much pigment on your brush, you can either fill another petal or wipe it off on your paper towel, right? Okay. Almost all the way around. Remember this, I printed my art printable on watercolor paper this morning. I have not tried Karin markers on artwork printed on copy paper and then covered in watercolor ground. Okay, Debbie, you just want to, so did you print on watercolor paper, Debbie? Let's start with that. I have a laser printer, which is, good morning, Jennifer. Hi, Mary. You printed on cardstock. That might be why. So you want something that's, because this is a water-based product, think about when you, do you have some watercolor ground, Debbie? You might try to, and did you use an inkjet printer or a laser printer? I have a laser printer that my husband found for me on OfferUp. The print, it was like $30. So my artwork, Tammy, can you put a link for me, please? My artwork is available on Corbiere-Scott All of my art printables are listed there. Okay, so now, okay, Debbie, did you try any of those things? Let me know. Okay, so print off on watercolor paper and your color is going to move better. Any water-based product is not going to move the same on cardstock as it does on something absorbent, right? So either watercolor paper or another product with watercolor, thank you, Tammy, watercolor ground, right? Remember we've talked about this? This is going to make your, whatever substrate you have, whether it's copy paper or cardstock, whatever, it's going to make it have the same properties as watercolor paper. So then you're going to have a little more wiggle room with your colors. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so now let's try a little bit of purple in there, see what happens. Rinse, and then let's pull that out. Let's pull some of that purple into our other petals. Oh, look at that. I'm loving that. So sometimes I just put like a dot and just pull that. I like to just, you know me, I like light layers of color. Then I'm going to come back with my brush and just soften that edge with that jiggy jaggy blend, right? And do you see this is, oh my gosh. So I'm just putting a dot of purple down here. Then I'm going to come in with my damp brush, and I'm just going to move that color up, right? Wipe it off, damp brush, come back. So the thing about, I find about Karin markers that you need to be aware of is they're super, super juicy, right? So that means color comes out hard and fast. Hey, Meg. It's another one of my cousins. Everybody say, good morning, Megan. She is a baker extraordinaire. I told you I come from a long line of creatives. We are makers, to be sure. Our Gram was a maker. Her mother and father were makers. All of my mom is an amazing maker. All of my aunts and uncles, either by necessity, because they lived on an island and they had to make do with what was there, or as a creative release. Okay. So now let's come back in, blend out those ends. But look at that turquoise and purple, how pretty they are together. But remember what I said, they're super juicy, so you don't want to use very much, right? Let me get closer to the light so you get a better... Yeah, we call her Meggie, but you can call her Megan. She is the most extraordinary baker. Seriously. It's a good thing I don't live close to her. I mean, I wish I lived close to her because I miss her tremendously, but she's not the kind of person to hang around with if you're a low-carb person, because she posts her breads on her Instagram, and it's just, oh my gosh. Okay, so do you see how beautifully they blend, right? You could color with them just straight color from the end of the pen. I just think this gives you so much more versatility. And you know me, I like to have things that give me lots of versatility, lots of different possibilities. Like how else can I use that? Okay, let's blend that out. Okay, does anybody have any questions about Karin markers? Anyone? So I want to let that one dry. You can also use these markers for calligraphy. So let's find a blank page. There we go. Let's do something on here. So let's do, give me a good word. Art, right? So watch. We can do right? Art. Helps me because it has this brush end, you can do lettering. Right? Art helps me breathe. Oh, what did you say, Lynn? Fearless. All right, let's find another page. See, all of my all of my art journals are filled with everything. So if I write the word fearless, then I can do something about that. I can make some kind of art around there. But I'll show you again how you can letter with these markers like nobody's business. That needs to be thickened. That's a good word. That's a good word, Lynn. I love it. Okay, so you can letter with them. You can, so let's, you can color with them straight, right? So let's get, so here, we can just pull that down, like color with it straight from the marker. No water added. But you know, I like to make it a little more interesting. There, do you see how I left some white? That, remember, always leave a little bit of white. That's always, that's fun, right? So maybe we come in with some grass green. Can be side right there. So let's go just along one side. Underneath. And do one side here. But I'm because it's a brush, you can just hit with just the tip, just the end. Now we can come in with our damp brush, tap tap tap, white, right? So you're gonna wet it and then tap it off. And then come in and just soften that edge just a little bit. Right? Back, forth, back, forth. Tap off. Back, forth, back, forth. We have one more. Remember, turn that substrate so it's comfortable for you. Back, forth, back, forth. Right? So let's take our cerise, and I want to do my blend. I find this the best. Right, so this is similar to what we did on here. You can also, these are big petals. Let's try this. Let's come in. It's wet. We can do some wet on wet. Right, for a more kind of ethereal look. Right, so I like to use them kind of like watercolors. right? So I'm going to put I have a piece of acetate here. I can scribble some color down. Right, add some water. And then I can paint. So do you see how your markers are going to last you a really long time? Because if you use them in different ways, if you use them as another source of watercolor. Get a little bit more on there. Get some more water. I have used Tombows the same way. Anything that I will tell you that water-based mediums are my jam. I mean, I like a Copic marker, but I'm not as well versed in them as I am in water-based products. Just water soluble it's my friend. Right, so let's get a little white in there. Now let's try, because this is still kind of wet, what happens if we come in and we just dot in a little bit of orange? At the base. This one's dry, so we're going to have to work on that. But let's get a little bit of orange all the way around. Tap, tap, tap. Just start to build that. Remember, nothing in nature is all one color. It all has reflections of other colors in it, right? So think about that when you're coloring something. Choose colors that work well together, that play well together. And you will have yourself a time. And remember, like, the whole idea of a new art medium, or maybe one that you haven't played with in a while, is all about experimentation. Like, take that medium and run with it, right? Play with it. Try it on all different substrates, like we were talking about, Debbie. Like, try it on cardstock, try it on copy paper, try it on watercolor paper. See what happens. See what happens when you use that medium on a different substrate, right? See what happens. You'll have some of the best happy accidents, promise. I'm thinking, what if we do the centers with amber? And then let's move that with some water. And see how some of these have a little bit of pink on them. What if we came back in? No, that wasn't amber, that was gold, sorry. Come at the very base. Remember, the base is always going to be a little bit darker. Tap, tap, tap. Sharon, you're going to rock these markers. Sharon is an amazing colorist. And so I just know that because she just got some Karin markers, she's going to go to town with them. But do you see how that just blending those colors is already creating some cool depth, right? So let's go back to this guy. That's funny, Lynn. So let's do some more color at the base. Tap, 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 and then let's move that color out. And one of the things that whoops, I just stuck my finger right in there. One of the things I have found is that some colors move better than others. I don't know why. Like cerise, you need to work it quick, or you have a little bit of a line. But you know, if you're an artist worth your salt, you can take care of that, right? So let's play with some depth here. So we know, so this flower happens to have a foreground and a middle ground and a background. So we can play with creating some depth just with color, right? So we can have, right? So we know that the front, that's where the most detail is going to be, right? The most detail. I can't think of another word just yet. I didn't eat my breakfast before class today. Not a good move, but you know. But let's deepen these back here, right? We want those to be a little darker because we want them to kind of recede. And these are already wet, so we're not having to do much to blend that color out. The water that was down there originally kind of starts that process for us, and that's, I think it's kind of prettier when that happens. Okay, so now let's come in and let's start to build the depth a little bit more. So you see we have white, we have light pink, we have a little bit deeper pink. Let's come in and deepen that pink even more. So we're going to go right down the left side of that petal, and then we're going to do that back, forth, right? And this side, let's do the right side of the petal. Turn our paper back, forth, right? Let's do the same thing here. And you could, it doesn't take a lot, so just use the tippity tip of your marker, of that brush nib. Okay. There you go. Look at that, it's already starting to get some really nice form, isn't it? Tap, tap, tap. Back, forth. Back, forth. Oh, look at that, I'm loving it. So does anybody have any Karin marker questions? Anybody? Everybody take a drink. Okay, let's see. We still have 2 more flowers to paint. So let's let those dry. Let's think about what colors we want over here. See if there's anything else I forgot to talk to you about. Oh, These are not refillable, just so you know. Price point is decent. They're like under $3, I think. Maybe 3 something. But still much more inexpensive than a Copic, but a Copic is refillable. But just so you know, these are not refillable. The paint is non-toxic, which is good to know. I think I told you all the things. I have a lot of different markers. Should I store all of my markers vertical except metallic? You know what, Lynn? Every marker kind of has its own, every medium has its own, wants, right? A Karin marker works best when it's stored up and down. Copics, I have heard that they do best when they're horizontal. There's lots of schools of thought on that though, so you know, who knows. Anyway, I don't know that they would all be the same. Most of my markers are stored in cups, tips up. So except my clean colors, those are all stored horizontally. I think that's just it. Everybody kind of has their own thing, you know. Oh, I did want to share with you what I got. So we went to the Frida Immersive Experience. Oh my gosh. So they had many like placards along the way that had a lot of text. They are easier to find vertically, that told her story. I mean, I've studied Frida extensively, so I knew a lot of her story, but you know what, you can always learn something. And so they had lots of pictures and text that you could read. You were greeted, the first thing that when you walked through was a Day of the Dead altar, which was stunning. It was stunning. So I did post a picture of that, and like one of my favorite pictures of her. But then you go through this kind of a maze, and you see the all of the placards, like I said, with the text and the photos of her. And then you walk through and you see this kind of like a movie, an animation of sorts, of like an artist, almost a sculptor really, depiction of that accident. And it was, oh my God, very moving. And it was on like layers of screens, so it was very dimensional, and it had audio that played too, which was the like crashing noises, so you really got a sense of what that was like. And then there was another one of those kind of animated interactive things where I posted a picture of that too, where Frida was lying on a bed, and then because she had spent so much time in her bed, remember, and then there were all these vines that came off, and then all the vines connected to these like pods, and in each pod were things that she realized or didn't realize, like she really wanted to have a baby, but because of that accident she was never able to have a pregnancy. So there were unborn babies, or they turned into flowers, or they turned into leaves, or they turned into monkeys because she had pet monkeys. It was just amazing. Then you went into another room and you watched the video depiction, And those are always just so moving because it's on the floor, it's on the walls, it's on the ceiling. It was just, you're just surrounded by it. And then when you walked out of there, you walked into this interactive area, there were 2 photo booths, and these photo booths, you could go in and you got your picture taken, but then your face was filled with fragmented bits of her artwork. Amazing. Amazing. And then they had, are there different kinds of camera? Mine are called brush marker maker. Yes, that's what mine are. Brush marker pro. Are you using it on, you're using it on watercolor paper? Okay, so let's see, Sharon. So, yes, I did watch Gatelin and I got hooked. Thank you, Debbie, for sending me down that rabbit hole, honestly. Okay, Sharon, so you're just going to add a little bit. Come in with your damp brush and pull that color. Whoops. A little bit. And pull that color with your damp brush. Let me know if that's working. Are yours, there are some newer Karin markers, and they are called Deco. I have not played with these. I've bought them, but I have not played with them. They are permanent, acrylic permanent ink. So I don't even want to talk about these, but just know this is different than this. They're both cerise, but they're different. The ink is different, right? There's a different formulation. But you should be able to move. If you've printed on watercolor paper and you're just using a bit of ink, I should say, at the base, and then you come in with your damp brush, not a wet brush, just a damp brush, you should be able to move that color. Is that happening, Sharon? Let me know. Everybody take a drink. And then we went to this amazing place for lunch called Taco Guild. Tessa was in charge of choosing our lunch place, and it was amazing. Okay, Debbie, there is a store in Michigan called Paper and I. Paper and I. The letter I. And they have open stock. Karin markers. And she has quick shipping. She's the loveliest. Her name is Audrey. The owner's name is Audrey. And I just like, and that's where I purchased all of mine. I purchased all of mine from Paper and I in, oh my gosh. Can I tell you, Lynn, it was so delicious. I can't type in a link for, well, maybe I can. Just a second. Oops. Let's see if paper And, well, darn it. I thought I was doing a link. Sorry, you guys. Paper. Well, I just keep... Can you write paper? Can you do a link to Paper and I, Tammy? I don't know why it's not working on this iPad. Anyway, then after we went to lunch and we had green chili queso, which seriously, I could have buried myself in a bowl of that. It was so delicious. And then we had delicious tacos that were really unusual and quite artisan. Anyway, after that, we went to Arizona Art Supply, one of my favorite places in the world. And I'll show you my haul. So I've been taking a sketchbook class. So I bought 2 sketchbooks that are small enough to just throw in my purse. So I have this one by Fabriano, which Fabriano is some of the loveliest. Exactly, Mary. Those were artisan street tacos. So I have this Fabriano sketchbook, and it's small. I think it's 3.5 by, it says 8, but it's not really. It's 60-pound sketch paper. It's lovely. And then I got this one. Why? Because it was square. I know. Lame. But I really liked the squareness. And I like my sketchbooks to lay open flat. And I like to be able to fold it back that way. So those were my choices for sketchbooks, because we have a new meetup that's happening October 7th. We're meeting at the Phoenix, that's so funny. I know, I love Arizona Art Supply too. It was so hot in there though. I could have spent so much more money if it wasn't hot. So I have a new meetup that's going to be October 7th at the Arizona Art Museum. There's an amazing exhibit that's going to be there. Exhibit, I should say. And all you need to bring is your sketchbook and a pencil. And we're going to sketch and draw and have ourselves a time, and from 5 to 7, and then we're going to go have dinner together at Old Spaghetti Factory. So, and here's the thing. October 7th is the first Friday of the month, and first Fridays museum admission is free. So, I would love for you to join us. Let's see. I got these big Posca pens because I saw a video on, oh, Debbie, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you found us. I'm so happy. And you know, you never know. Someday our paths might cross, but don't you just, God bless Facebook and the internet for bringing us all together so we can make art together every Tuesday and Thursday. So these giant Posca pens, I saw a video on Instagram, and I don't know if it was a Jelly Arts print video or a Burgett Koopsman video, but they used giant Posca pens on their jelly plate. So just know that's coming to a pop-in paint party near you soon. I found, so we've talked a lot about different kinds of watercolors. Last week we talked about handmade watercolors. I usually use pan watercolors just because, no particular reason, but I do buy tube ones every now and again. Daniel Smith makes a beautiful tube watercolor. So I only had Opera Pink because I love pink. But, so I got a couple more colors. I got rich green gold, and permanent yellow deep. Look at how pretty those are together, right? So here's my advice to you. If you're looking for new art supplies, buy one. Buy one in your favorite color. You're way more apt to use that and paint with it and play with it, right? If it's a color you really like. So, and then I just bought 2 more colors that I really like. If it's a color that I don't love, then I'm not going to be as apt to go, oh, let me try and play with that on copy paper. Let me try and play with that on cardstock. Let me try and play with that on watercolor paper, right? In my sketchbook, whatever. So I just buy, you don't have to buy like the whole set of something. You just need to try it out. Yes. So Tammy got a swatch sample with 36 dots of color. Remember, we've talked about dot charts. Daniel Smith has dot charts often, and I have a couple that I've gotten in the past. So here's Jan Gray's, I went to one of her classes and she was selling this. So this is her, she has a specialized Daniel Smith palette, right? So you just get a little bit of each color, and his stuff is so highly pigmented. It'll last you a while. I think Hero Arts has its own palette. Lots of different people have different palettes. Anyway, yeah, so Tammy got this little box and it has 36 colors, right? So she has 36 dots of paint that she can play with and figure out what color she likes the best. So that's an option too. So you might look for that. I also got these 2, I'm telling you, these are really inexpensive brushes. They're called Moderna. Yeah, like the vaccine. I got a 1-inch flat. Look at that. Do you see that beautiful snap? You know I like a watercolor brush with snap. And then a number 8 round, which look at how pretty that is. Look at I haven't even broke it in yet. I love when they are still they're held together so tight, and then you can loosen them up. So pretty. Anyway, that's what was in my haul from Arizona Art Supply. I did want to share with you what I got at the Frida gift shop. I got a bookmark. It says Frida Kahlo, and I got some postcards because it was quite spendy. So I was disappointed that they didn't have any books because I always like to buy an art book, but they did not, and so, well, let's open these so you can see all the different postcards that oh, there goes my fingernail. Let's go. That's one of the dangers of wearing Color Street nails, is that you can pop the whole thing off. Okay, so there's this one, this, there's that monkey, right? So those are cute, right? Tessa came over for Sunday dinner. We always, she comes over most Sundays for Sunday dinner, and she brought me some cool things that I thought I would share with you. She went to the Dollar Tree. Everybody has Dollar Trees, right? And if you've taken my whimsical lettering classes or my Together We Letter classes, you know that I've taught classes with the Crayola Super Tip markers. There was a whole book for $1.25 on Crayola calligraphy, right? So I haven't, she just gave it to me, so I haven't started playing with it, but just know that that's $1.25. That's a good investment, right? And then she got these. look at those colors. Colors of kindness. She goes, I just saw them and I thought of you. That's so sweet. I love that. I love that. So I can hardly wait to bust these open and play with them. And she got me a National Geographic magazine. And this one is July 1958, and it's a big chunk of it is about the British Isles. Stop it. The photography. Look at it. There's Afghanistan. The ads. Stop it. Look at that. Pink. I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Anyway, that's my artsy weekend. Everybody take a drink. I know those pencils are, I can hardly wait to play with them. I'm so proud of Crayola for busting out with the all different skin tones and the positive messaging, you know? I'm just really proud of them for doing that. Let's get a little bit more, a few more blues. I'm feeling like I want to where's my, there we go. There we go. Maybe go like kind of rainbowy all the way around. Sharon, I hope that I gave you some tips that help. I hope that you're able to move your color a little bit on your watercolor paper. Start with just a little bit of color and then move that, and you can build as you go along. I know that I'm over, but I just want to get to the next section. Right? So we know green is going to be there, so let's... I know. Come on, who doesn't love a rainbow? I love a rainbow. And doesn't this flower just lend itself to rainbow, I think? Right? So, you know where I'm going with this. I hope that everybody learned something more about Karin markers. Remember that that plastic nib is really strong and is really going to work for you in many ways, right? You can use it like the fat side of it, right? Or you can use the skinny side of it, right? You can do so many things with it. You can letter with it. You can, I know, Nancy, come on. How are we not going to do a rainbow? Everybody needs to do a rainbow and then post it in the group. I would love to see. So if you are local, please check out the event that's posted in the group to see if it's something that you want to do. We have lots of time to plan. October 7th. I am getting our September classes finalized, and I can hardly wait to share them with you because it's using another new art medium. I can hardly wait to share that with you. You're all going to want to scramble and order that product and join those classes because I have just like done a deep dive into those, to this medium. It's not working. So Sharon, are you, did you put just a little bit of color down and then try and move it with your damp brush, where you dip your brush in water and then tap it off on your paper towel? Let me know if that's working. And you print it on watercolor paper. What color are you using? I know, I'm liking the colored paper too. So just do, oh golly, Sharon. You know what? Send me a message later. Like, play with it and see if you can kind of get a feel for it. And then send me a message later, okay? I'm here all day. I am sewing on a quilt for my mother-in-law. I'm so proud of myself. I did 4 rows, and I only have 8 more to go. And then I have to sew those all together and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I adore you all. Thank you so much for hanging with me, making art with me. I appreciate that. If you would all, if you're brand new here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Yes, we do have a YouTube and a Instagram. And then ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Corbiere-Scott. And go to Corbiere-Scott-Designs.com for all things Anne and artsy. All of my artsy classes are there. All of my artsy art printables are there. I have a blog that sometimes I write stuff on. I have a list of all the art supplies that I like to use there in my Anne's Artsy Arsenal. Anywho, that's the place to find me. If you're watching this on the replay, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. That helps me tremendously with the algorithm. And if you're watching it live, if once you the video is over, if you can hit that thumbs up button, that helps me so much. If you want to know when I go live, hit the bell. Then you'll get some kind of a notification when I go live. So until Thursday, go and make something artsy. And then post a picture, because now I'm dying to see what everybody does with their Karin markers. Thanks, everybody. Bye.